dancing of Zambia, proud and free, land of wealth and joy in unity, victors in the struggle for our rights. We want freedom's fight, oh, one, strong and free. Africa is our own motherland, passion with and blessed by God's to blend. Let us all our people join as one, brothers under the sun, oh, one, strong and free. One land and one nation is our cry, dignity and peace in Zambia's sky, like a noble eagle in its flight. Zambia, praise to thee, oh, one, strong and free. Praise be to God, bless our great Zambia, Zambia, Zambia. Remain we stand under the flag of our land. Zambia, praise to thee, oh, one, strong and free.
Prayer. Almighty God, who in your infinite wisdom and providential goodness has appointed the officers of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to consider with your abundant favor us, your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of such important responsibilities in this land. Let your blessing descend upon us here in Parliament assembled, and grant that we may, as in your presence, treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation, in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country, and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen. Order, honorable members. I have a number of announcements. Order. Honorable members, I have received communication to the effect that, in the absence of Her Honor the Vice President, who is attending to other government business, the Minister of Finance and National Planning, Honorable Dr. Stumbekom Sokotwane, MP, has been appointed acting leader of government business in the House from today, Wednesday, 4th March, 2026, until further notice. I thank you. Honorable members, I wish to recognize the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from African Vision of Hope Christian Secondary School in Ichongwe District. On behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, I warmly welcome our visitors in our midst. I thank you. You may take your seats. The next announcement, honorable members, I wish to recognize the presence in the public gallery of students from Eden University in Lusaka District. On behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, I warmly welcome our visitors in our midst. I thank you. You may take your seats. Honorable members, again, I wish to recognize the presence in the diplomatic gallery of delegates from the Swedish Embassy, led by His Excellency, the Ambassador, Mr. Johan Hellenborg. I wish on behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia to receive our distinguished guests and warmly welcome them in our midst. I thank you. You may take your seats. Honorable members, another announcement. I wish to recognize the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from Monique Priest and the Primary School in Lusaka District. On behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, I warmly welcome our visitors in our midst. I thank you. You may take your seats. The last announcement. Honorable members, as the House is already aware, in 2023, the National Assembly of Zambia embarked on a process of establishing a Parliamentary Training Institute. Subsequently, the Institute for Parliamentary Studies and Training, IPST, was born. The mandate of the Institute is to provide training and capacity building programs to parliamentarians, staff, and other interested stakeholders. In this vein, I wish to inform the House that the IPST will be officially launched on Monday, 16th March 2026. The event will take place in the auditorium here at the main Parliament buildings starting at 09 hours. All honorable members are urged to attend this significant milestone in parliamentary reforms. I thank you. Can you clear the console? These people indicated, I thought it was points of order, even before we sang the national anthem. It's not fair for those people who had not indicated. Let's clear the IT, please clear. IT, please clear. Urgent matters without notice. The Honorable Member for Kalulushi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving the good people of Kalulushi an opportunity to ask an urgent matter without notice on behalf of the people of Chambishi, and this one is directed to the Minister of Home Affairs. Madam Speaker, in the last few days, Chambishi has experienced what we would term as proper terrorism on our residents. Madam Speaker, when it gets 18 hours, our residents in Chambishi are living in fear because we have now what we're calling robbers that are attacking people and our teachers randomly, stealing their cell phones and beating them. Just yesterday, we had a report, I got a report, that 5 of our residents were badly beaten from different areas of Chambishi. And this is due to the fact that the mining entities owned by the Chinese deploy our police officers to guard their mines. So the compound or the community is left without patrolling. So, Madam Speaker, I would like to ask the Minister of Home Affairs if more officers could be deployed or stop those officers manning the mining areas and let the Chinese entities deploy their own securities before we have lives lost. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Kalulushi. You are making a serious allegation that police officers who are employed in the police service are guarding private properties, as in Chinese minings. Do you have any evidence to support what you are saying?
Madam Speaker, unfortunately, I didn't bring any evidence, but it's within the framework of the law that they can actually guard those mines once they request and they pay Zambia Police, Madam Speaker.
Oh, because from what you are saying, I thought that maybe they were doing private jobs guarding those mines. If it's within the law, then we cannot question that. But then in terms of, I would advise the Honorable Member for Kalurushi to report to the police what is happening, to raise the issue with the police. Because if you are saying it happened yesterday, they are robbers and what have you, bringing the matter on the floor of the House, waiting for the Honorable Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security to come with a ministerial statement will not sort out the problem. So I would advise that the Honorable Member for Kalurushi immediately engages the police, including the Minister himself, to see how this matter can be addressed. That way you bring solutions to the people that you represent than to wait for a ministerial statement. If that fails, then we take it up from there. I know there is a commanding officer in the Copper Belt who is very able. Very able. So please, yes, get in touch with him and we will find a way to assist you. So that matter is not admitted. We go to the next one. The Honorable Member for Kamfinsa.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I wish to direct an urgent matter without notice to the Minister responsible for education. Honorable Minister of Education, the Zambia Qualifications Authority is one of the most very critical institutions that we have in this country, whose responsibility is to verify and ensure that people who present academic qualifications, Madam Speaker, are presenting the correct academic qualifications. And people use these academic qualifications, Madam Speaker, either to get employment or to seek entry into higher institutions of learning. Madam Speaker, I believe in that process. However, Madam Speaker, I also believe in the process of running efficient government institutions, and this is the public outcry, Madam Speaker, which is coming from citizens, that when they attempt to have their qualifications verified, the process of verification, apart from the high cost that is attached with verifying these results, Madam Speaker, the efficiency with which this institution is actually verifying these qualifications, Madam Speaker, is leading to people losing job opportunities. You apply for a job, they tell you go to Zaka and have your results verified. Unfortunately, Madam Speaker, the level of inefficiency in this institution has raised public concern, Madam Speaker, and I thought that today, on behalf of the many people that have requested me to present this matter to the Minister, I thought that this is a matter that required assurance from government that steps are being taken to transform Zaka into a very efficient organization that will not deny people opportunities either to go into university or seek job opportunities. Is the Minister of Education in order, Madam Speaker, not to assure the nation that steps are being taken to transform Zaka into an efficient public institution? I submit, Madam Speaker.
Now, I don't know whether it's a point of order when you say is the Honorable Minister of Education in order. Honorable Member for Kamfisa, clearly that issue does not qualify to be raised as an urgent matter without notice. The criteria is very clear. It could be very important. The issue that you have raised might be very important. But the serious allegations that you've made that there is inefficiency and what have you, I think what we can do is let's put in a question, then the Honorable Minister can be able to come and shed some light on what you are saying. So the matter is not admitted. The Honorable Member for Nkana.
Madam Speaker, the urgent matter that I wish to raise is directed to the Minister of Education. Madam Speaker, trouble is looming in Kitwe. Our young people at the Copperbelt University are on the verge of running amok. From October, or rather from December last year, Madam Speaker, our students at the Copperbelt University have not been paid their allowances. And you are aware when the President visited, they were very anxious and anticipated that this matter would have been addressed. I have been bombarded by a number of these lamentations because I'm MP coming from Kitwe. And through me, these students are seeking government's quick intervention before they have actually run out of options. Is the Minister of Education, Madam Speaker, in order to sit here quietly and not address these students on government's position regarding what they are entitled to, allowances? And Madam Speaker, government missed an opportunity when the President traveled to meet these students to have addressed this problem. I seek your indulgence, Madam Speaker, before we have trouble.
Honorable Minister of Education, is it true that the students from the university have not been paid their allowances? Maybe you can just clear the air because the honorable member has made some allegations. If you are able to do that.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Before the President went there, there was rumor, according to what he's saying. But when I found out from Helsby, they said it was not true. Thank you.
So, Honorable Member Fonkana, do you have evidence? The Honorable Minister of Education, or the Honorable Member Fonkana? The Honorable Minister is saying that what you are saying is not truthful. Do you have evidence, Honorable Member Fonkana, to show, which you can lay on the table, to show that students in the Copperbelt have not been paid their allowances?
Madam Speaker, I have personally spoken to students at the Copperbelt University.
The question is,
if
do
you
have
go
evidence?
to social platforms.
Do you have evidence which you can lay on the table?
Madam Speaker, I do have evidence. I can bring to you all the messages I've received from the students. In fact, I can show you that social media is awash of all these statements from the Copperbelt University.
The Honorable Member Fonkana. Please, I always advise that let's not use social media as a source of our information. If you are really concerned about the welfare of the students at the Copperbelt University, you could have gone to the authorities there. They would have written a letter to you. As a member representing them, you should have taken that step at least, so that when you come here, if there is the minister is saying one thing and you are saying another thing and you have a document to support what you are saying, then it will be easy to know who is telling the correct story. Or the Honorable Member.
Madam Speaker, I was just checking on how the Helsby answered me. On the 21st of February.
Let's listen, honorable members.
On the 21st of February 2026, Copperbelt University Helsby payments. Honorable Minister, I write to provide an update on the Higher Education Loans and Scholarship Board payment for Copperbelt University students. CBU currently has 13,167 students who are beneficiaries of Helsby support. Each student is entitled to a meal allowance of 25 kwacha per day, payable for the number of days they are on campus in accordance with the approved academic calendar. Payment is effected after the completion of registration and Helsby processes has now been automated and is conducted online. The screening process commenced with first-year students and was subsequently extended to returning students. This process was successfully concluded in February 2026. The meal allowance payment was initially pending March 2026 funding. However, management engaged the student union and through savings realized from the January funding, an agreement was reached to settle the February meal allowances within the available funds. Please note that CBU closed on Friday, 20th February 2026, and students were accordingly paid for 20 days for the amount of February. This resulted in each student receiving 500 kwacha, that is 20 days times 25 kwacha. The total amount disbursed for meal allowances to all beneficiaries in February was 6.6 million kwacha. Attached herewith is the instruction issued to the bank for the said transfer. Students are expected to return to campus in 2 weeks' time, which falls in March. There is a balance from January meal allowance, which will be paid together with the book allowances of 14 million in March. Please advise should any further clarification be required. Thank you.
So you see, Honorable Member Fonkana, first of all, the students are not even on campus. They've closed. And they've been paid. So please, when you come to the floor of the House, give information which is one, factual, two, verifiable. May the order. Honorable Member Fonkana, can you withdraw your urgent matter without notice and apologize for giving wrong information to the floor of the House?
Madam Speaker, that information that has been given by the minister is not verifiable. It's a letter he's reading from WhatsApp.
Order.
It's not verifiable.
Order, Honorable Member Fonkana, you have been guided. Can you withdraw your urgent matter without notice and apologize?
Madam Speaker, this segment, we raise matters so that you rule. It is not for me to withdraw.
Order. Honorable members, you know the rules of the House. Matters that are presented before this Honorable House must be factual and verifiable. I gave an opportunity to the Honorable Member Fonkana to confirm whether or not he had facts which can be verified and a document evidence that can be laid on the table of the House, on the floor of the House. But he has failed to do so. The Minister of Education is the one who is responsible. Order, Honorable Member Fonkana. The Minister of Education is the person who has got the responsibility to know the affairs of the Ministry of Education, including the Copperbelt University, which is under his responsibility. The information he was reading is from the person who is in charge at CBU University, who was updating him on what the status is currently. So, Honorable Member Fonkana, the information you have is either outdated or not truthful. So I'm asking you, can you please withdraw that? Because it was wrong, or it can be so that it can be expunged from the Hansard, and you apologize.
Madam Speaker, you have asked me to apologize based on unverified information.
Order. Honorable Member Fonkana.
Let me apologize.
Honorable Member Fonkana, you've been guided. Please, don't water down guidance that has been given to you. Don't challenge the guidance that I've given you. Please, for the last time I'm asking you, can you withdraw and apologize?
Madam Speaker, I withdraw the matter I raised, which matter you have guided, that based on the information from the minister, and I apologize.
Order. Just withdraw and apologize. Don't explain.
Madam Speaker, just to meet your needs, I apologize and I withdraw.
Order. Honorable Member Fonkana. Honorable Member Fonkana, can you leave the House now? Go and reflect on your conduct. And then you come back tomorrow after you have reflected. So today it will be deemed as a no sitting for all purposes. You risk being named. I have permitted the Honorable Minister of Water Development and Sanitation to present a ministerial statement. But first, before we proceed, actually, the information that Honorable Member Fonkana was stating should be expunged from the record. The Honorable Minister of Water Development and Sanitation.
Madam Speaker, I rise today to update this House and indeed the people of Zambia on the tangible and transformative progress government has made in expanding access to safe water and improve sanitation services across Southern Province. These are not promises on paper, but concrete projects delivered, communities transformed, and lives improved under the bold and visionary leadership of President Hakainde Hichilema. Madam Speaker, water is dignity, water is development, and water is opportunity. It is for this reason that government has acted with determination to ensure that no district and no community is left behind. Our interventions are deliberate, they are inclusive, and they are equitable, reaching urban centers, rural communities, border towns, and growth centers alike. Allow me, Madam Speaker, to take this House through government's interventions district by district, so that honorable members may fully appreciate the scale and impact of our work in Southern Province. Madam Speaker, in Livingstone, the Zambezi Raw Water Intake Project has been completed, and this will guarantee reliable water supply to cover over 200,000 residents, even in times of low water flows from the Zambezi River, thus answering to the need for climate-resilient water infrastructure. The sustainable access to clean water project in Ngwenya compound has also been completed and is benefiting over 14,000 residents, while the Manjelende water supply project in Kabila Ward is also benefiting 1,400 residents. Further, Madam Speaker, government has constructed 44 boreholes, rehabilitated 24 boreholes, completed 8 pipe water schemes, and certified 3 villages as open defecation free in the past 1 year. Looking ahead, 2 new piped water schemes will be constructed in 2026, which will benefit an additional 500 residents. In addition, the Maramba Sewer Network Rehabilitation Project is currently at the procurement stage, and once completed, will benefit over 21,000 residents. Madam Speaker, in Choma District, government, with the very support of the German government, has launched the Management of Water Resources and Sanitation in Medium-Sized Cities project in Choma and Livingstone, with a primary focus on Choma. This landmark investment, valued at over 32 million euros, is aimed at rehabilitating critical water infrastructure, expanding sanitation services, and strengthening climate resilience. The project is expected to directly benefit over 300,000 residents across the 2 cities. Madam Speaker, I'm pleased to report that significant progress has been recorded. The contract for the supply of standby pumps was signed on 23rd February 2026, while the evaluation process for the rehabilitation of the 8 commercial boreholes is near completion. By 6th May 2026, tenders for the rehabilitation of 18 kilometers of the Muzuma Rising Main and 5.7 kilometers of the Choma Dam Rising Main will be advertised in the national print media. Towards the end of the 3rd quarter, works will commence on the rehabilitation of water treatment plants and the construction of a climate-resilient water intake in Livingstone. Furthermore, Madam Speaker, the project will substantially enhance sanitation services through the construction of a 40 cubic meters per day fecal sludge treatment plant and 1,700 improved pit latrines in Choma. 5 additional commercial boreholes will also be drilled by May 2026 alongside comprehensive groundwater monitoring activities to ensure sustainable and responsible water resource management. Madam Speaker, the Munyike Large Dam project is at feasibility stage and once completed will benefit communities around Mapanza Growth Center in Mapanza constituency. Government has also rehabilitated Mauka Dam, which supports livestock and irrigation. Further, Mochipapa and Muzuma dams are under rehabilitation. In Kazungula district, government completed the Kazungula Water Supply and Sanitation Phase 1, which is currently benefiting about 16,000 residents. To increase water storage capacity, the Chilea Dam has been completed and is benefiting over 6,300 and over 9,000 cattle across 20 villages. Government is also implementing a groundwater mapping and development project under which 3 solar-powered production boreholes and a distribution network have been constructed to supply water to Sihumbia Primary School, the Rural Health Center, and surrounding villages. This project is currently at 80% complete. Last year alone, Madam Speaker, 100 boreholes were constructed, while in 2026, government plans to construct about 10 new boreholes, rehabilitate about 15 boreholes, and complete 3 piped water schemes to further expand water access. In Mwanza District, Madam Speaker, between 2024 and 2025, government constructed 22 boreholes, rehabilitated 47 boreholes, completed 14 piped water schemes, rehabilitated 21 water pipe schemes, and reached over 1,000 people with sanitation and hygiene promotion. As part of the ongoing plans, the 30 million Kwacha Monze Water Improvement Project will be implemented in 2026 to further extend access to water. Additionally, government rehabilitated the Luyaba Dam, which is now providing water for livestock, aquaculture, and irrigation. In Chirundu District, the Lusitu Water Reticulation Rehabilitation Project has been completed and is currently benefiting about 1,400 residents. Construction of the Mulolo Vera Dam is ongoing, and once completed, it will benefit over 1,600 people and over 23,000 cattle. In 2026, government will construct 10 new boreholes, rehabilitate 15 boreholes, and complete 3 piped water schemes to further expand water access. In Zimba District, government has made significant progress in expanding water and sanitation coverage. Chundwe Dam has been completed and commissioned and is currently benefiting over 3,000 people and over 14,000 livestock across 9 villages. Siambelele Dam is at 80% complete, and once completed, will benefit 1,200 people and over 6,000 cattle across 7 villages. Tambana Dam, at 93% complete, will benefit over 4,500 people and over 8,000 cattle in 14 villages. Madam Speaker, further, the Treasure Compound Water Project in Mapatizia has advanced to the procurement stage, and once completed, will address existing supply gaps and strengthen water service delivery in fast-growing settlements. In Pemba District, Madam Speaker, government has completed 40 boreholes and 5 piped water schemes, which are currently benefiting residents. Hajamba Dam has been completed and is benefiting over 2,000 people and over 3,000 livestock across 10 villages. Chiwentolo Dam is at 30% complete, and once completed, will benefit over 3,000 cattle. Madam Speaker, in Chikankata District, government completed 12 boreholes, rehabilitated 19 boreholes, and completed 8 piped water schemes, while 15 villages have been certified open defecation-free areas. Chisuta Dam is now at 40% complete, and once completed, will benefit over 9,000 people and over 4,000 cattle. Madam Speaker, in Siavonga District, government has constructed 31 boreholes, rehabilitated 68 boreholes, completed 17 piped water schemes, and certified 32 villages as open defecation-free areas. Construction of the Siakalinda Dam is currently at 60% completion, and once completed, will benefit over 10,000 people and 6,000 livestock across 14 villages. In Kalomo District, Jongolo Dam has been completed and is awaiting commissioning, benefiting 12 villages with over 5,000 people and 3,000 cattle. Madam Speaker, in Namwala District, Chitongo Dam has been completed and commissioned and is benefiting over 4,000 people and 15,000 livestock. In Gwembe District, Bondo Dam is under construction at 10% completion, and once completed, will benefit over 9,000 people. In summary, Madam Speaker, across Southern Province, government has delivered the following: 800 boreholes constructed, 400 boreholes rehabilitated, 234 piped water schemes completed, over 440,000 people reached with sanitation and hygiene promotion, 600 villages certified open defecation free, 5 dams have been constructed, 2 dams have been rehabilitated, while 2 others are still undergoing rehabilitation. 8 dams are under construction. Madam Speaker, these are not mere words, but clear and measurable evidence that this government is working, building and transforming communities across Southern Province, district by district, and community by community, in line with the National Development Agenda. As we move forward, government remains resolute that clean water, safe sanitation, and water security are not privileges but fundamental rights. This administration will therefore continue to mobilize resources, strengthen partnerships, and prioritize investments to ensure that every Zambian, regardless of location, has access to reliable and sustainable water and sanitation services. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister of Water, Development and Sanitation. Honorable members are now free to ask questions on points of clarification on the ministerial statement presented by the Honorable Minister of Water, Development and Sanitation. The Honorable Member for Katombola.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for according the voice of Katombola constituency to ask the Minister a follow-up question. Honourable Minister, thank you for the ministerial statement. The people of Katombola constituency are predominantly farmers, and dams are very essential in our constituency. Honourable Minister, what criteria are you using to allocate these dams? Because places like Katombola constituency, we are really lagging behind in terms of dams. Just wanted to find out the criteria that your ministry is using to allocate and designate dams in Katombola constituency and the Republic of Zambia. Thank you, Honourable Minister.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Minister of Water, Development and Sanitation.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Let me thank the Member of Parliament for Katombola for that very, very important question. And in answering my question, let me be very, very clear. Before choosing any dam location, the Ministry of Water Development and Sanitation, the Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of Energy, the Ministry of Green Economy and Environment come together so that the dams, the sites we choose, speak to the biggest agriculture potential, energy potential, and obviously water for domestic and industrial use. Further, we also look at issues of livestock. In fact, the Minister of Livestock is also on board. You will recall, Madam Speaker, further that President Hakainde Hichilema 2 years ago declared the drought as an emergency then. And again, we did a research to see where the most suitable dams would be and where the impact would be the highest. So in explaining what I've said, this is a criteria we use, Madam Speaker, but I'm also aware that indeed Katombola is the one place where we should be building a dam very, very soon. So we're doing this in phases. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Kantanshi.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much. And as you can see, most of the people that have indicated are from Southern Province. So more or less like the way you always say, it's a constituency province. So in this case, it's a province, it's a question for the province. But as the minister was explaining, I got interested because there is no way Southern Province can have such a glamorous report of water availability. When are we going to hear from you about Copper Belt and and the districts that are affected with water problems, particularly in Mfulira district? When are you going to give us also an outlook of what the New Dawn government is doing? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Water Development and Sanitation.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Kantanshi, and indeed it's a glamorous report. Just like all the other reports actually have been glamorous because a lot of things are happening across all the provinces. And maybe for the information of the Honorable Member for Kantanshi, we came to the House and updated yourselves, members of Parliament from Copper Belt, about what we are doing in the Copper Belt. As you can imagine, I think the biggest pressure from the Copper Belt is not really the dams. It's the piped water schemes because most of your areas are urban areas. And I think at that point we talked about what we're doing in Kana, Mufurira, and your place, Honorable Member of Parliament. But since we already gave that statement, we can invite you to the office so that we can go through what we are doing on the Copper Belt. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Chitambo.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much. And Minister, thank you for this statement. And just like the Honorable Member for Kantansha has said, it looks clear that you've done a lot in Southern Province. And Madam Speaker, I just want the Minister to lay away an impression that might be created across the country to those who are listening. It might look like the Minister has only worked in Southern Province. Minister, are you in a position to come back to this House and give the people of Zambia what you've done in each and every province so that they appreciate that you are doing work in each and every province? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Minister of Water Development and Sanitation.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much for that question. And let me be very, very clear. Obviously, now we are talking about Southern Province, Madam Speaker. We are not talking about Eastern Province or Central Province or indeed the Copper Belt Province. So the dams or the water reticulation points we'll be talking about are those from the Southern Province. When I came here to update the nation actually on the other provinces, again, it was stated to be a glamorous report, but that the concentration was only in in that particular province. When I come to the Eastern Province, actually, Madam Speaker, we've even done more. We've done a lot more dams in Eastern Province. We've done a lot more dams in various chiefdoms, I must say, in Eastern Province. Just like we've done a lot of dams in Northwestern Province, in Central Province, and all the other provinces. So, just to correct the impression, Honorable Member from Chitambo, it's not only Southern Province, it's all the provinces across the country. This government actually is working and working very, very well. Equitable distribution of resources, all dams across the length and breadth of this country. So no one should create an impression that is Southern Province. But at this stage, I'm giving an update on Southern Province. And maybe also let me take this opportunity, Madam Speaker, to encourage members of Parliament to pay particular attention when we are talking about a particular province. Because I can tell you again here in this House, Honorable Members of Parliament, that the biggest investment we have made, if there's one big investment we've made in any province, it's on the Copper Belt Province. Because this is where we've invested billions of kwacha. Kafulafuta Dam was commissioned, $450 million. Already right now, the Kana extension, it's in almost $100 million we'll be spending there. So if you aggregate the totals, then you'll be saying Copper Belt Province is where we've invested the biggest amount of money. So let's follow each other as we present these ministerial statements. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Bwengwa.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much. Minister, thank you for your statement. Minister, I think I remember quite well about 2 years ago where I asked you to rehabilitate some of the dams in my constituents. Example, Kanundwa Dam, Yalwakamba Dam, Chibuyu Dam, then Nakaulwe Dam, Monzwe Dam, Tandawale Dam, and Luyava Dam in Chongo West, as well Hinguluma Dam and Kemba Dam in Kemba Ward. But I want to thank you, Minister, that you came in, okay, in collaboration with the CDF fund, that we managed to rehabilitate only one dam out of 9 dams, okay, which spilled off. Now, Honorable Minister, I think the situation in the Bwengwa constituents is terribly very bad, and people depend entirely on livestock. And out of the 9 dams which we had requested you to rehabilitate, only one was rehabilitated, okay, working in conjunction with CDF funding. And I just want to find out from you, Minister, whether under your ministry there is any fund allocated for maintenance or rehabilitation of the dams. Because I think this is where we are failing most of the dams right now. Okay, they are almost, okay, collapsing, okay, no, or they are in a verge of collapsing, and most of them, okay, the dam walls have collapsed. Is there a fund put aside for maintenance every time you think about construction of a dam? Thank you very much, Honorable Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Water Development and Sanitation.
Thank you very much for that important question. Again, Madam Speaker, these questions honorable members are asking are very, very important. And the member brings out two very, very important issues. One is the need for frequent maintenance of these dams. Madam Speaker, most of these dams across the length and breadth of the country are earth dams. They are like roads. They need maintenance. They need vegetation control. They need repairs on the spillway. They need repairs on the earth dam itself. So the answer to the first question is that yes, indeed, there are funds allocated every year to rehabilitation of the dams. Again, I came to this house to report on progress on rehabilitation of over 700 dams last year. This year, again, there are funds allocated, and most of the dams we didn't rehabilitate or maintain last year will be maintained this year. The Honourable Member of Parliament, again, Honourable Kasauta, I think he also talks about something very, very important. I think the need for all of us members of Parliament to put water as an important item from the expenditure of CDF. So I would want to encourage members of Parliament that please, for us to adequately supply water to our people, let's also use some of that money. I led by example, actually, even before I was appointed Minister of Water Development and Sanitation. We constructed a very good dam in Angoma constituency. But it's gratifying to note that Honorable Kasauta also has used some of that money to rehabilitate the dams. As we say, Madam Speaker, water is life, and we need to ensure that we give this life to our residents. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. The Honourable Member for Iteji.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for giving the people of Iteji an opportunity to ask a follow-up question to the Minister. Honourable Minister, Iteji has a population of over 135,000 people, and the urban community has a population of over 30,000 people. And also, Honourable Minister, it says as a population of animals, which is more than its people. Now, Minister, in your ministerial statement, I did not hear anything about it. So I'm wondering whether it is part of Southern Province. If it is part of Southern Province, what interventions are you doing, Minister, to deal with a water reticulation system in the district? It's the only district in Southern Province, Madam Speaker, that do not have a water plant to service its people. It's the only district in Southern Province that do not have any functional dam. From time immemorial, there's no single functional dam. But in your statement, I didn't hear anything about it. Kindly, the people of Texas wants to know what and how you are prioritizing it in your ministry. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honourable Minister of Water Development and Sanitation.
Madam Speaker, let me start by apologizing that we didn't talk about Iteji despite doing a lot of things in Iteji. And just for the record, the people of Iteji, currently the ministry is helping the people of Iteji by ensuring that ZESCO, I think working together with the council and the member of parliament, actually, we've been trying to request ZESCO, obviously, to improve the water supply to the people of Iteji, not only to increase the capacity for abstraction and treatment, but to ensure that we expand the treatment, you expand the distribution network. Further, Madam Speaker, the Minister of Water Development and Sanitation, working with the Minister of Livestock, obviously, and recognizing that most of our cattle come from that area, we have a project we are doing to bring water from the Kafue River as well as some dams across, some ponds across those flats to points where these cattle are. So there is a project already ongoing with the two ministries to ensure that we provide water to the people of Iteji. And to the people of Iteji, again, I'm aware that a number of boreholes and a number of piped water schemes we have done in Iteji, as the Honorable Member of Parliament will attest to. So it's just regrettable that we didn't mention these things about Iteji, but the people of Iteji must be assured that indeed they are part of Zambia, they're part of Southern Province, and we will take care of them. Let me also confirm here that there is a dam coming in Iteji, and we're hoping that the feasibility studies and designs will be completed this year. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Pemba.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity to ask a follow-up question. On behalf of the good people of Pemba constituency, Honorable Minister, thank you very much for the dam that has been completed, Hajamba Dam, and of course, other works that have been completed. Honorable Minister, I've been keenly following the construction of these two dams, Hajamba Dam and Chibwentolo, which you informed this August House is that it is at 30%. Honorable Minister, you are aware that the Chibwentolo Dam had its dam wall washed away, of course affecting our farmers downstream. Because of this, the Weir Dam that were actually affected because of the silting. Now, we want to know, on behalf of the good people of Pemba, what is the status of this contractor? For one information, the community is not happy with the contractor. The works that have been done by the contractor, the community is not happy. We really want to know what is the status of this contractor. Is this contractor continuing? Because as it is now, there are no works happening on site. Nothing, completely nothing. The 30% we are talking about has been 30% for more than 1 year. Honorable Minister, what the status of this contract?
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Water Development and Sanitation.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member of Pemba, for that very, very important question, and I can understand your frustrations, and really we are with you since we have discussed the non-performance of this contractor. Madam Speaker, there are illegal issues surrounding this contract, and we are trying to see what we are able to salvage, and if we are not able to salvage anything, we want to see if we are able to cancel this contract and restart again. But only to assure the people of Pemba that government is doing everything possible to ensure that these works are completed. I'm also glad, Madam Speaker, to report to this House that the ministry working with the Member of Parliament actually averted the catastrophe one of the years when the water supply system dried up there. So I want to commend him for taking care of his people well. I think he's a very pushy Member of Parliament, and we're able to do a lot of things because of his leadership. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Chikankata.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Minister, for your comprehensive statement. Minister, in your statement, you mentioned that the Chasuta Dam is at 40% completion. But, Minister, the contractor left the site toward the end of 2024, till now is not on site. When is the contractor going to be on site so that he can finish the 60% remaining, so that the people of Chikankata will have access to their source of water? I submit, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Water Development and Sanitation.
Thank you very much, Honorable Sabao, for that very, very important question. And again, this is a similar issue with the Pemba Member of Parliament. Madam Speaker, we have issues with this contractor also. But I want to assure the people of Chikankata that the ministry working with the Member of Parliament are doing everything possible to ensure that these works are restarted as quickly as possible. There are issues of performance surrounding this contract, and I think we are almost there in finding a solution so that we can complete this dam. The people of Chikankata, we can only ask for their patience as we resolve these issues and complete, so that we lead to the completion of the dam. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Mbavala.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Minister, for that very good statement. Minister, we want to commend your ministry for working with us very well at Maoka Dam, which is now, I think, completed, and the other smaller works. Minister, the Mapanza, the main comprehensive dam, which is supposed to be done behind St. Mark's on the confluence of Munyeke and the Ngonga River, is supposed to be a game changer to the agricultural situation of the entire constituency. When do you think this dam will start being constructed so that we can actually harvest from the heavy waters that are flowing through Mbabara constituency? I thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Water Development and Sanitation.
Thank you very much for that important question from the Honorable Member of Parliament from Mbabala. And yes, indeed, the good people of Mbabala are celebrating because it's a project which was successfully completed. Madam Speaker, the dam we envisaged to construct across the Ngonge River in Mapanza is what we classify as a large dam. So currently we are doing feasibility studies and detailed designs so that we can estimate the costs and obviously budget for them. So I will not be able to give a time period in which we'll start these works, except to say we've started with the feasibility studies and designs, and hopefully in the next year or two, we should be able to have advanced in procuring a contractor to construct these works. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Siavonga.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much. Minister, through you, we want to appreciate the Siakalinda Dam, which is at 60% completion. Honorable Minister, I want to find out, other than the dam that you have constructed in Siakalinda, if you have plans to put up dams in other areas that are hard hit, places like Kawira, Simamba, Kabuyu, Mutuba, and other places, just to find out if you have those plans to put other dams in other places. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Water Development and Sanitation.
Thank you very much again for this very, very important question from the Honorable Member of Parliament. And indeed, Siakalinda Dam is at 60% complete. And Madam Speaker, what's gratifying is that we classify this dam actually as medium to large-sized dam. And this also, let me take this opportunity, actually, Madam Speaker, to ask or to request members of Parliament where these dams have been constructed or where they are old dams, to start putting value in these reservoirs. You find you've constructed, some dams are old, some of the dams we've constructed, the activities around these dams are very, very low. Through CDF, Madam Speaker, we can stock these reservoirs with fish. From this water, Madam Speaker, we can irrigate. We can have small gardens around these areas. In these areas, we can keep livestock. So the purpose of constructing these dams actually is to ensure that we add value. So I really would like to request my fellow members of Parliament, for those members of Parliament where there's abundant water, like Luena, we encourage you to invest in abstraction systems. Get that water and irrigate like what the current leader of opposition, Honorable Musokotwane, is doing. And thank you very much, sir, for that. Madam Speaker. Oh, leader of government business. Question. Oh, sorry. Madam Speaker, I meant the leader of government business. Yes. Honorable Musokotwane currently. Apologies. Madam Speaker, I want to confirm that yes, indeed, we have plans. The need for water harvesting infrastructure, Madam Speaker, is huge. I can only encourage my fellow members of Parliament to invest more. But I would also like to request the Honorable Member of Finance, the Minister of Finance, to allocate more funding to this ministry. Water is an economic enabler. Water is life. Water supports irrigation. Water supports hydropower generation. Water supports livestock. Water is life. If we are going to be food secure, energy secure, And obviously, water secure, we need water harvesting infrastructure. Our people are crying for dams every day. Our people are crying for boreholes every day. Because of climate change, some sources are drying up. So the ladies, the women, the girls who get this water now have to travel long, long distances. So let's work together to ensure that we provide water to our people. So in short, Madam Speaker, yes, we have plans to construct more dams, funds allowing. Madam Speaker, thank you.
The point of order is being raised. Honorable member from Pika, what's the point of order?
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity to raise a point of order, reluctantly so. But obviously, clarity must be given. Madam Speaker, the Honorable Minister of Water Development and Sanitation engages the Minister of Finance on the floor of the House and asks him to allocate more funds towards his ministry. An undertaking, Madam Speaker, that he can do during cabinet meetings. Is in order, Madam Speaker, to engage his fellow cabinet minister on the floor of the House, like a backbencher, Madam Speaker, when he always has an opportunity during cabinet meetings to table such matters as concerning his ministry. Madam Speaker, thank you.
So what is the breach? What rule or standing order has been breached?
Madam Speaker, standing order number 71, coupled with the procedure of the House and precedence.
No, I think that standing order 71 does not apply, Honorable Member. I won't even take time to read it for you to remind you. So I think there's no rule against one minister urging another minister or requesting another minister to do a particular thing. It's for the benefit of the people and the members also to show that the minister is making a request. He's not sitting idle. Whatever follows up, they will do in the cabinet. But I think there's no breach that has been occasioned. So the Honorable Minister is in order. It's actually the Honorable Member of Parliament from Pika who is out of order. The Honorable Member for Isoka.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for according the people of Isoka to ask a follow-up question. Honorable Minister, thank you for your ministerial statement. Madam Speaker, water is life. I've said so because in Isoka we have a very big problem where water is concerned. Last time I asked the minister about constructing a dam in Isoka. We have a very big river called Kasimbi. We have plenty of water in that river. But up to now, nothing has been done. So I wanted to ask, because I've heard that they've constructed a lot of dams in Southern Province. Although that statement was for Southern Province, even in Isoka, people of Isoka want water, and water is life. When is your ministry going to construct a dam in Isoka? We have no dam in Isoka, not even one, Madam Speaker. Minister, when are you going to construct a dam in Isoka? On Kasimbi River in Isoka constituency. I submit, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Water Development and Sanitation.
Thank you very much for the question, Madam Speaker. I know when I was being asked a question, Madam Speaker, I remembered the Kuala ceremony we attended. And Nkosi Yamakosi Mpezeni, I think he had very good advice to my fellow member of Parliament from Pika. And he's president, so, you know, when you've never been a minister, you may not understand certain things. So let me answer, since I'm the one seated in this chair. Madam Speaker, indeed water is life, and since today we are discussing Southern Province, I do not have an answer for you, Madam, but I can only invite you to come to the office. But I can tell you that where you come from, Madam, in the province you come from, we've done a number of dams. Let the public know that today we are discussing Southern Province. So obviously the dams we'll be discussing are only in Southern Province. We're discussing dams in the Copper Belt, in Central Province, in the other provinces. So when you compare the total number in Southern Province to your constituency, obviously in your constituency there will be less. We are talking about Southern Province. We'll come and talk about the other provinces as well. If you recall, and please, it's very, very important that we follow these debates so that we don't mislead the public. Today we are discussing Southern Province. That's why all these dams obviously are from Southern Province. When we discuss the Copper Belt Province, again, I must say, look at the figures. I think this government has spent in excess of $1 billion in the Copper Belt Province from the budget itself, from our national budget itself. So, Madam Speaker, yes, Isoka, we are still coming there, Madam Speaker. The people of Isoka must be patient. And through yourself, Madam Speaker, through the Member of Parliament, we can update them. Come to the office tomorrow, Madam, so that we can update you, so that you update the people of Isoka. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honourable Member for Mukushi South, you wanted to raise a point of order. What was the point of order? Or it has been overtaken by events?
No, Madam Speaker, I will ask a question instead of a point of order.
Okay, then let me ask the Honourable Member for Momba who indicated earlier.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And Honourable Minister, let me join also my colleagues in thanking you for the efforts that which your ministry is doing to ensure that our people have safe and clean drinking water, including those for our animals. Honourable Minister, following the responses you gave to the Honourable Member of Parliament for Pemba and Chikankata, where you find that the contractors are abandoning some of these projects, and it takes more than 1 year. And this is just not in your ministry. I can give an example. So those who are constructing towers, they will leave. And for 1 year, Honourable Minister, we are struggling to fix this problem where the contractors abandon, and you are forever engaging them. Now, don't you have a certain time frame whereby if a contractor has abandoned the project, say for 6 months, and automatically you trigger or a situation whereby another contractor should be found immediately so that our people are given the services that which they need? Don't we have just a standard time frame to give to these contractors? Madam Speaker, thank you very much.
Thank you. The Honourable Minister of Water Development and Sanitation.
Madam Speaker, let me thank the Member of Parliament for that, again, very, very important and thought-provoking question. Madam Speaker, maybe I should start with the good news. The good news is that there is more and more better performance from local contractors now. I think what used to happen then, I will not discuss the period, those days, contractors would sign a contract with the ministry, they would be paid advance payment, and they would just abandon works. Nothing would happen to them. Nothing at all, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I will state very clearly here that at the time this government was coming in, failure rate from local contractors, particularly in the ministry and particularly from sanitation projects, Madam Speaker, were in excess of 60%. Projects abandoned. What we did was to ensure that the rule of law is followed. Any contractor who signed a contract with government was required to perform. And obviously, those who didn't perform, Madam Speaker, were cashing their bonds, the securities. Some were taken to court. We've recovered monies, Madam Speaker, from the local contractors. So our no-nonsense approach to poor performance, Madam Speaker, has helped. Contractors, Madam Speaker, I'll tell you contractors, I think the Honourable Member of Parliament who talked about Siakalinda Dam will be my witness. When we brought these contractors, and obviously threatening them with legal action and threatening that we will cash their bonds, a lot of local contractors, Madam Speaker, went back to site. Some of these projects which have been successfully completed, they've been completed because we've been hard on them. However, the other good news is that for those contractors who have performed, we've even rewarded them with more work. So, Madam Speaker, now to answer the question specifically, why is it taking so long? Madam Speaker, again, a contract is a legal document. What has basically happened is that it has also taken long to wind up the contract, to recover the monies. Some contractors have also gone to court. So most of these works which have taken long is because of the legal system. Most of these contracts also engaged the Attorney General, the Minister of Justice, to help us so that government does not lose money. This is the reason why some of the contracts have taken long. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. We have exhausted the time, so we make progress. I've also permitted the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation to present a ministerial statement. The Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. Honorable Member for Mukushi, we have run out of time, so you could not ask your question.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to update this Honorable House and the nation on the evolving security situation in the Middle East and the measures being undertaken by government to safeguard the welfare of our citizens residing in or transiting through the affected region. 1. Overview of the situation. Madam Speaker, recent days have witnessed an escalation in military activity in parts of the Middle East, including aerial and missile exchanges affecting several countries within the Middle East and in the Gulf region. These developments have resulted in civilian injuries, infrastructure damage, temporary closure of airspace in certain areas, and heightened security tension in the regions. The situation remains fluid and subject to rapid change. Therefore, government is closely monitoring the security developments in the regions through our diplomatic missions and multilateral channels. 2. Government coordination and preparedness. Madam Speaker, in light of the evolving security situation above mentioned, government has activated an intensified interministerial coordination mechanism to comprehensively assess the situation and to review, refine, and strengthen contingency preparedness measures. This has brought together relevant ministries and agencies responsible for foreign affairs, defense, disaster management, and security coordination, as well as heads of mission accredited to countries in the affected regions. The objectives are to A, receive real-time updates from our missions, B, assess potential risks to Zambian nationals, C, review and refine contingency evacuation frameworks, and D, strengthen interagency coordination mechanisms. Therefore, all missions in the affected regions have been directed to update and confirm registers of Zambian nationals, maintain constant communication with Zambian communities, submit scenario-based costed evacuation plans, and coordinate with relevant partners and host authorities to ensure preparedness should circumstances deteriorate further. 3. Status of Zambian nationals. Madam Speaker, Zambian nationals are resident across several countries within the affected regions. This includes our nationals in academic study, professional practice, private sector employment, and service within the diplomatic corps. Madam Speaker, allow me to state clearly that as of this moment, government has not received any reports, verified or otherwise, of injury or loss of life involving any Zambian national as a result of the ongoing hostilities in the regions. This position is based on confirmed updates from our missions based in Egypt, Israel, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. However, as I mentioned earlier, we are alive that the situation remains fluid. Madam Speaker, some of our nationals have encountered temporary travel disruptions arising from precautionary airspace closures and heightened security measures. In response, our missions have remained fully engaged on the ground, providing timely guidance, facilitating consular support, and coordinating necessary assistance to ensure the safety and welfare of Zambian nationals where required. 4. Consular intervention in high-risk areas. Madam Speaker, government is currently managing, I repeat, Madam Speaker, government is currently managing an urgent consular matter involving a Zambian family of 5 residing in the Kurdistan region.
Honorable Member for Mukush South, Honorable Member for Mufurira, Honorable Member for Matero. Please, if you want to consult, you can go out quietly and consult. Don't talk so loudly. We can hear everything that you are saying, and then we are not able to follow what the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs is saying. May the Honorable Minister continue.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'll repeat. Madam Speaker, government is currently managing an urgent consular matter involving a Zambian family of 5 residing in the Kurdistan region, an autonomous region of Iraq. In light of the deteriorating security environment, arrangements have been made, initiated through our mission in Cairo, to facilitate their evacuation. Efforts are also ongoing to ascertain the whereabouts and status of a Zambian national reported to reside in Iran. Through coordinated engagement between our missions in Cairo and Ankara, Turkey, preparations are underway to facilitate safe transit through the nearest viable corridor, subject to prevailing security assessments. I wish to assure this House that the matter is being handled with the utmost urgency and due sensitivity. Madam Speaker, I further wish to inform the House that the government of the United Arab Emirates is providing support and temporary accommodation to stranded passengers. This intervention has significantly contributed to the easing of the impact of recent travel disruptions. 5. Travel and security advisory. Madam Speaker, in response to the evolving security environment, the Ministry issued a travel and security advisory to all Zambian nationals residing in or visiting the affected regions. Our nationals have been advised to A. Remain vigilant and avoid areas near military installations or key government infrastructure. B. Stay indoors and utilize designated protected spaces when alerts are issued. C. Strictly follow instructions issued by local authorities. D. Avoid non-essential travel to affected areas. E. Maintain contact with the nearest Zambian mission. F. Ensure travel documents remain valid and readily accessible. And finally, confirm flight operations directly with airlines due to temporary partial airspace closures. Madam Speaker, the travel situation is progressively stabilizing, with flight operations gradually resuming. Notably, Emirates has commenced the phased restoration of its services, signaling a turn toward normal aviation activity in the regions. Nevertheless, government will continue to monitor the situation closely and will issue further guidance to the public should the needs arise. 6. Zambian foreign policy position. Madam Speaker, Zambia is a peace-loving and non-aligned nation. Therefore, we do not take sides in conflicts of this nature. Our consistent position is guided by the principles of respect for sovereignty and territorial integrity of states, non-interference in international affairs, peaceful settlement of disputes, and adherence to the United Nations Charter and international law. We therefore call upon all parties to exercise maximum restraint, prioritize dialogue, and embrace diplomatic engagement in order to prevent further escalation and safeguard regional and global stability. Madam Speaker, as the President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, has consistently reminded us, instability anywhere is instability everywhere. This principle underscores the interconnected nature of our global community. This principle underscores the interconnected nature of our global community. Instability in one region inevitably carries implications for international peace, economic stability, and human security beyond its immediate borders. It is for this reason that Zambia continues to advocate for restraint, dialogue, and peaceful resolution of disputes as the only sustainable path to a lasting peace. 7. Conclusion. Madam Speaker, in conclusion, government remains fully seized with the evolving situation in the affected regions. Our response continues to be guided by vigilance, coordination, preparedness, and the well-being of Zambian nationals wherever they may be. Interagency mechanisms remain actively engaged, and our diplomatic missions are continuously in contact with Zambian nationals resident in their countries of accreditation and extra accreditation to ensure timely communication and support. The safety, security, and welfare of our citizens abroad remain our foremost priority. We shall continue to monitor developments closely in real time. Should the security environment require further intervention, government will respond in a measured, coordinated, but efficacious manner. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. Honorable members are now free to ask questions on points of clarification on the ministerial statement presented by the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. The Honorable Member for Ron.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity to ask a follow-up question to the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. I want to appreciate the ministerial statement, which is very comprehensive, Madam Speaker, that the Minister has actually rendered to this House. Madam Speaker, one of the three factors of production is labor. And the Minister has actually, in his statement, mentioned what our Republican President has always mentioned, that instability in the neighbor is instability in our country. He has also talked about the economic instability that might spill in other countries. Madam Speaker, I would want to find out from the Honorable Minister as to whether what is happening in the Middle East will affect our economic stabilities in our country, which is doing so well at the moment. Are we going to be affected economically in terms of stability, Honorable Minister? Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, to the Honorable Member for Ron for that question. To the extent that I am able to respond to it, I'll speak to the facts as we know them now. We are aware that as a result of this conflict situation, escalating conflict situation, there is a challenge with the transportation of goods from the affected region. Amongst the goods that are affected is crude oil. So certainly there will be an impact on the entire globe with regard to crude oil and other goods that come from the region. In terms of ourselves, I'm aware that the Honorable Minister of Finance and National Planning always puts in place measures to buffer against this instability that can occur from outside. The question that remains is the how long this conflict situation will last and what other global mitigation measures will be put in place. Those we can only wait to see. But suffice to say that the Honourable Minister always puts in place contingency plans. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honourable Member for Kwacha.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And let me also thank the Minister for giving a brief background to what measures the government is putting in place on this war that is taking place in the Gulf region, which is very unfortunate, that war to be taking place at this particular time when we are all looking at advancing and developing our nations. You know, in the Middle East, that is where our driving engines for economies evolve. We are looking at oil. Now, Honorable Minister, I would like to find out in an event where this war escalates beyond what we have in mind, maybe a month. We are looking at probably in Russia and Ukraine war, which has ravaged and has gone on for over a year. What measures is the government looking at to try to evacuate our nationals that are trapped in that particular region? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honourable Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I thank the Honourable Member for Kwacha for that important question and the observations underlying it. Madam Speaker, as I indicated in the ministerial statement, the contingency plans that are in place are monitored literally on a minute-by-minute, hour-by-hour sort of approach, in real time, in short. And these contingency plans are costed. So you will note, Honourable Member for Kwacha, for instance, that the United Kingdom decided that it would give effect to its contingency plans. And we saw this morning or late last evening an aircraft being chartered from Emirates to ferry United Kingdom citizens back to their country. Is in a similar way, the Republic of Zambia does in fact put in mechanisms to ferry Zambian citizens via an arranged transportation mechanism. So should that eventuality come to pass, we are ready for it. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honourable Member for Matero.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I want to thank the Minister of Foreign Affairs for that able answer. I must note, Madam Speaker, that this ministry has had, including its predecessor, they are diplomats and have been equal to the task of that ministry. It's just unfortunate that the minister won't be back in the 14th Parliament. We will miss him. That said, Madam Speaker, I want to find out. The minister has done well with all that they are doing with this unfortunate war, and one hopes does not lead to a third world war. Madam Speaker, I want to find out from the able minister, of the Zambians that he said he has been in touch, if at all he's been in touch with one Zambian that plays football in Saudi Arabia, Fashion Sakala. Have you been in touch, and is he well? Are you making an effort to help him come back to Zambia and be safe? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honourable Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I must thank the Honourable Member for Matero for always making a joke of matters that he brings to the floor of this House. It keeps us in a lively spirit. For instance, talking about who shall not return in the 14th session. Clearly, Madam Speaker, I can only take that as being a joke. But certainly, in the eventuality that the Honourable Member does not return, which is likely, We will equally miss him, Madam Speaker. That was on a lighter note, Madam Speaker. Indeed, we do value each and every one of our citizens, all of us being equal before the law and equal in our citizenship as a country. We specifically treasure those that have lifted the country's flag very high, such as Fashion Sakala and other heroes of this country. I can assure the honorable member that the teams that have been given the duty of tracking each and every Zambian have equally been in touch with those in Saudi Arabia, and we are keeping a close eye on them. All of them are our national treasures, Madam Speaker. I thank you.
Thank you. The honorable member for Chama North, to be followed by the honorable member for Chama South, who is joining us virtually. Please get ready, honorable member for Chama South.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity. Thank you, Minister, for that ministerial statement. We do appreciate the steps government is taking to ensure that our people are safe in the Middle East. Honorable Minister, before maybe I ask you a question, allow me also to convey our heartfelt condolences to the people who have been killed in this war between Israel, America, and Iran, especially those children in Iran who were more than 100 children died as a result of the strike. Madam Speaker, the Minister, you mentioned about Zambia being a NANE-aligned movement. A member of NANE, we are NANE-aligned. I know that Zambia severed relations with Israel 50 years ago because of the Palestinian cause. So, Honorable Minister, when war breaks out in the Middle East, of course it has serious economic repercussions, including our country, Zambia, because the oil prices definitely will go up, which will affect the world economy. So I want to find out our position as government. Is this war really justified? Thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation.
I thank you, Madam Speaker, and I thank the Honorable Member for Chama North for, I believe, what would be a question based on international relations theory. Madam Speaker, I would like to correct one or two impressions, if you may allow me, from the question raised by the Honorable Member for Chama North. First, he speaks about having severed diplomatic relations with Israel 50 years ago on account of the Palestinian question. Madam Speaker, the Honorable Member is not correct, with due respect. Relations were severed on account of the war between Israel and Egypt. The OAU, at the material time, Organization of African Unity, made a decision that all member states should sever ties with Israel in solidarity with Egypt, not because of the Palestinian question. So let us be absolutely clear when we raise these questions and the theories that underline them. Madam Speaker, in fact, diplomatic relations were restored by President Chiluba in 1991 with Israel. From then, the Patriotic Front government took a step further and reopened our embassy in Egypt in 2015. That is the historical context of our relationship with Israel, Madam Speaker, so that the people of Zambia are not misled. In addition, the Honorable Member failed to mention that, in fact, we enjoy strong, cordial relations with the state of Palestine from time immemorial to date. Therefore, questions around whether this war can be justified and so on and so forth are not put forward in the correct theoretical perspective. Our position as government has been explained over and over with regard to any hostility on the globe. We do not support it. We say there must be a diplomatic solution. Similarly, with the war in the Middle East. And we reaffirm that as government, we believe that the solution lies in a two-state solution with the two, Palestine and Israel, living side by side in harmony. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honourable Member for Chawama.
Speaker, thank you so much for the opportunity.
Sorry, I forgot.
You said Chama.
First, Chama South first, okay. Sorry. The Honourable Member for Chama South, I told him to be ready, he's ready. You may proceed, Honourable Member.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, let me begin by thanking the Minister for Foreign Affairs, who commissioned the state-of-the-art police station in Ruwa Ward 15, where I am, here in Osaka Central. Honorable Minister, your coming back is guaranteed. Madam Speaker, let me also thank His Excellency, President Hakainde Hichilema, for his historical invitation of all councillors in the nation to interact with him as a head of state. We have no doubt that such leadership is above a self-interest. We are very grateful, President Hakainde Hichilema, for doing that. Honorable Minister, I want to find out what preparations have you put in place in terms of educating the Zambian citizens on the impact of this war, particularly on crude oil prices. For the first time, Madam Speaker, the crude oil has jumped to $85 per barrel, which means Zambia does not produce any crude oil. Therefore, oil prices are going to be increased. Are you making preparations to disseminate this information so that the people of Zambia should understand that their government has worked so hard to reduce the prices of oil, but we do not produce oil. It is produced in the Gulf state where there is war. Therefore, oil prices going forward are going up so that we avoid any propaganda as we head towards elections. I submit, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honourable Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I thank the Honourable Member for Chama South for his contribution and for the question that has been asked. Madam Speaker, I would also say probably the Honourable Member for Chama South was speaking in jest as well. However, what he says is music to my ears when he talks about return, and I receive, Member for Chama South, your kind words. Indeed, a lot of effort has been put by this government, by His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema, to restore the country to the position it ought to be, to reverse the negative trends that were inherited and which took great effort on the part of government, on the part of the President and his team to see the fortunes of the country back on course. It therefore indeed is a very daunting prospect that this conflict would possibly cause, it has been seen that there is already a rise in the cost of crude oil. And as the Honourable Member for Chama South has pointed out, crude oil is an essential ingredient to our economic activities here in Zambia, in the terms of the byproducts of it, petroleum, and et cetera, et cetera. It is indeed important that the people of Zambia understand that this is a factor outside of our control. Whilst the Honourable Minister will put in place contingency measures and has put in place contingency measures to avoid a shock to the economy in a way that cannot be properly managed. Nonetheless, as the Honourable Member for Chama South has pointed out, we need to be vigilant and alive and patriotic as Zambians that there is this unfortunate incidents that can have a negative effect on all the hard work that has been put in place. So, Madam Speaker, all I can say is that, as I mentioned in the ministerial statement, we are currently sitting in interministerial committees, including the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit, to forestall some of the possible consequences of this unfortunate situation. But yes, including using this platform, Madam Speaker, we need to ask our people of Zambia to brace for a potential outcome that would be injurious to us from this unexpected event. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Chawama.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. The report from the Minister is very insightful and, of course, resourceful. But he used a very critical word, that the situation is still fluid in that area. Now, when you look at that word, it means the situation is unpredictable. The circumstances are still unbearable. Madam Speaker, should we wait as a nation until the situation becomes more unbearable for us to retrieve our nationals? Do we have a special arrangement not to allow our citizens to get into serious doldrums of the unbearable situation in that area? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I thank the Honorable Member for Chawama for that important intervention. Madam Speaker, indeed, the word fluid does denote unpredictability to a certain degree, which could be either positive or negative. It could be that the hostilities begin to de-escalate tomorrow, or it could be that they escalate even further. That is why we use the term fluid. And as mentioned once again, Madam Speaker, in the ministerial statement, the monitoring is literally day by day, minute by minute, so as to ensure that we are not caught on the back foot. The contingency plans that have been put in place look at various possible scenarios in this fluid situation, so that we are ahead of them reaching a point where we can do nothing about it. So it is not to say that we'll wait for the last minute. That is why a contingency is in place, for us to be able to take effective measures as and when certain triggers take place. Those triggers have yet to be seen as at now, and those triggers are not at the point of no return, but rather when we see certain factors falling into place, which can then ask us to move in and take the necessary action preemptively rather than correctively. Madam Speaker, why we would have to wait for the appropriate time and those triggers to come into place is because, as mentioned, these, our citizens, are playing different roles within the societies in which they currently reside. Any premature action would not only be disruptive to those societies, but also to the lives of our citizens. So one has to take a very careful, calculated step. If it were soccer, the sliding tackle has to come at the right time, otherwise you get a red card. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Chilubi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Today, around 11 hours, I was speaking to about 4 students from Cyprus. And as you know, Madam Speaker, Cyprus is one of the countries that are targeted. I said Cyprus. Yes, I said Cyprus. Anyway, I did not come to Parliament for trivialities. I deal with serious business. Yeah. So, Madam Speaker, when I talked to the students, I could notice that there was serious trauma, which they are expecting, psychological trauma, of course. And you know that Cyprus, which the Minister of Youth cannot pronounce, is one of those that have been targeted. And I wanted to ask the Minister the measures, because the bombardment that is going on between these worrying factors is happening every day and at a lightning speed, and it's a competition of who has more muscle militarily. And I think you know what has happened in the Gulf region and those targeted. What are we doing in terms of reaching out to the categories that you talked about, where you talked about diplomatic corps and students and many other? Has government made an effort in terms of reaching out and identifying who is where
And what are the measures that we are, especially in terms of pacifying the psychological trauma that people are likely to suffer? Because people are panicking clearly.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. And I thank the Honorable Member for Chilubi for that intervention. Madam Speaker, I did outline some of the measures that are being undertaken by us as government, and Cyprus is no exception. The Zambian nationals living in Cyprus or studying in Cyprus are no exception. I think the Honourable Member may also be aware that, in fact, that particular territory is administered under two separate state entities. On the one hand, the UK, on the other hand, Turkey. And so we are in touch via our ambassadors in those two countries that have that extra accreditation to deal with matters relating to our nationals in Cyprus. Madam Speaker, indeed, part of the package includes the welfare of our nationals, making sure that matters such as the psychological trauma that has been referred to are addressed and counseling is offered. But as the Honourable Member has quite correctly observed, Cyprus has not been excluded from the ongoing escalation in military activity. We'll continue to act in the best interest of our people. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honourable Member for Kasenengwa.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much. The Minister of Local Government is saying, Alema Minister Mulekele Ekon, meaning the Minister of Foreign Affairs is tired of answering the questions. Nonetheless, Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, we seem to be asking almost the similar questions, and at this point I've noticed that we are dealing with the pounds and maybe neglecting the pennies. The Minister has explained very well how they intend to take care of Zambian nationals who could seemingly be stuck in those countries that are affected by the war which is going on. Though I wanted to find out through you, Madam Speaker, what plans does the Minister have, or do they have any specific message to Zambian nationals who are, one, stuck in the countries that are affected by the war, and some beyond those countries, but their flight routings are via those countries which are affected by war. I'm saying so because at this particular time when the flights are cancelled, which go through the Middle East, government officials and those from big organizations are being rerouted at the expense of the sponsors. But that those Zambian individuals, perhaps who could have traveled for business or any other activity, whereby their visas have expired, they are stuck, they do not know what to do, where to go. How does the government intend to help them? Do you have a message to the Zambian people who are communicating with their relatives out there, who are now seated at the airport because, one, the flights are cancelled, two, the visas have expired. Three, they are also scared now of being picked up by the local immigration officers and being locked up because the visas have expired. They have nowhere to run to. Do you have any message to give them? Or is there any special fund which can help those people reroute so that they can travel back to Zambia at the soonest possible time? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honourable Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I thank the Honourable Member for Kasenengwa for that, again, important question and intervention. Madam Speaker, at the risk of being repetitive, as indeed the Honourable Member did recognize himself, our actions are multi-sectoral, and of course we are constantly in touch with the host countries. This situation being an act of God, force majeure, Madam Speaker, it is beyond the individuals who may be affected by the change in circumstances. For instance, an example of visas expiring or the leave to remain in the host country elapsing. Madam Speaker, in those circumstances, it is not of the own doing of the individuals that may find themselves in that situation. Therefore, they cannot be held criminally liable, for the lack of a better term, or under the rules of immigration to have breached by reason of their own choosing. And therefore, there is a basis upon which they can engage, and we are assisting them to engage the host countries to take care of that particular circumstance they might find themselves in. In terms of the flight plans that they may have, as I indicated, for instance, the government of the United Arab Emirates, through which most of the traffic to Zambia is routed, has already put in place contingencies in order to allow for those who are stranded to have extended stay, including paying for their accommodation. Finally, perhaps with regard to other carriers, it is a contractual obligation where the individual is not to blame for failure to travel, that the airlines put in place alternative means for the particular passengers to reach their destinations. I know the Honourable Member is expecting a response which I think I've already covered in my earlier submission. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honourable Member for Kamfinsa.
Madam Speaker, the statement, the ministerial statement, appears to be dealing with the issue of the welfare of our citizens who are caught up in this very, very unfortunate circumstance. My attention, and I want to draw the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Madam Speaker, you may have to guide whether the Minister of Energy will have to come and elaborately deal with this issue, which I want to direct to the Minister of Foreign Affairs. According to the Energy Regulation Board, Madam Speaker, we only have fuel for the next 20 days, which technically means, Madam Speaker, that by the month end of March, if the problem that we have in the Middle East continues, Madam Speaker, we are going to have a lot of panic buying. We are going to have a lot of demand for this commodity called fuel for various citizens. And obviously, we don't want to start fighting to resolve a problem which we can resolve right now. Minister of Foreign Affairs, are you in a position to tell us what measures government has put in place to ensure that this commodity called fuel will be available at a time when the 20 days elapses, which has been announced by the Energy Regulation Board? Madam Speaker, I raise this matter because it is linked to the war that is taking place in the Middle East. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honourable Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I thank the Honourable Member of Parliament for Kamfinsa for that important question. Madam Speaker, I fear that perhaps the Member of Parliament for Kamfinsa might be misrepresenting the position as expressed by the Energy Regulation Board, or indeed the Ministry of Energy, as the case may be. The reason I say this is that his question is premised on the assumption that there is 20-day stock only, that there is no inflow or outflow in the intervening period. That is a wrong assumption, Madam Speaker, and the Honourable Member has not addressed the nation through his question as to whether or not he has taken time to find out the extent to which we have inflows and outflows, the extent to which we have stock on the high seas that is pending, the extent to which we have stock in transit through the oil marketing companies. The question, Madam Speaker, is presumptive. Perhaps what we should be talking about is, are the 20 days a reserve in the ordinary course of business? And if so, is there a deliberate process of increasing that reserve? Madam Speaker, I'm aware that the Ministry of Energy is looking at each and every one of these parameters. I thank you.
Thank you very much. So we make progress. Questions for oral answer under Standing Order 80. The Honourable Member for Chilubi.
Question 238, Madam Speaker.
The Honourable Minister of Transport and Logistics.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. The Honourable Member for Chilubi, Mr. Mulenga Fube, to ask the Minister of Transport and Logistics a 5-part question. A, whether the government has any plans to purchase a cargo boat for Chilubi district. B, if so, when the plans will be implemented. C, what the estimated cost of the boat is. And D, what institution will be responsible for operating the boat. And lastly, Madam Speaker, in Part E, if there are no such plans, why? In response to the question raised by the Honourable Member of Parliament for Chilubi Parliamentary Constituency, I wish to inform this August House as follows. A, government has no immediate plans to procure a new cargo boat in Chilubi district to service the Samfya-Chilubi route. This August House may wish to note that government has devolved the provision of water transport services to the local authorities and Zampost. Currently, the route is serviced by the Post Boat and MV Luchelenganga. In addition, plans are underway to repair MV Friendship, and an assessment to determine the scope of repair works for MV Friendship was undertaken by Zampost. The estimated cost of repairing the MV Friendship is 13,640,734 kwacha and 14 ngwe. B, as stated above in A, government has devolved this function to the local authorities and Zampost. In this regard, I urge the Honourable Member of Parliament to engage the relevant local authority on the possibility of supporting Zampost in the repair of MV Friendship, or alternatively in the procurement of a new cargo vessel. C, the estimated cost of procuring a new cargo vessel will depend on its specifications, including the required carrying capacity, which is tonnage, dimensions such as height, and the materials used in its construction, for example, metal or fiberglass. D, Zampost will be responsible for operating the MV Friendship once it's repaired. Finally, Madam Speaker, in Part E, as stated above in A, the provision of water transport services has been devolved to the local authorities and Zampost. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. Supplementary questions? The Honourable Member for Chilubi. Is it Chilubi? Chilubi.
I would like to thank the Minister for the answer that he has provided. And I think I also want to thank the Minister that he further went to talk about the MV Luchelenganga, which is largely a 120 passenger boat capacity that is mainly does not qualify to be a cargo boat. I think the Minister has visited the area before and he knows that is not a cargo boat per se. Having said that, Madam Speaker, I want to find out from the Minister, having given the amount as 13 million plus, and you have devolved the functions to the local authority and the Zampost, and then the funding structure has not been clarified properly. In this case, if we are to target which local authority will be responsible for managing or repairing the MV post, which is grounded currently, which has a rotten base, which particular local authority would be responsible for repairing that MV, since you have said that the responsibility lies with Zampost, it's a joint responsibility, and the local authority. Which particular local authority should we target?
The Honourable Minister of Transport and Logistics.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. and thank you to the Honourable Member for the follow-up question, which follow-up question the Honourable Member would want to frame as though it were a trick question. The bottom line, Madam Speaker, is that these water vessels that we're talking about, by their very nature, will service a number of districts. And what I would like to opine is that having devolved local resources, rather resources to local authorities, I think that the various districts that are serviceable by these particular vessels would actually come together. You see, CDF is there to be able to help the people. And if indeed this is an issue or an area that we consider to be of utmost importance, nothing stops a number of local authorities to come together in conjunction with ZAMPOS, put resources together. We feel that you would be able to actually resolve this particular problem, particularly when you look at the other boat, which is actually serviceable by this amount that I've just referred to, the 13 million plus. And I think that the Honourable Member of Parliament, together with other MPs in the area, must think outside the box and help yourselves in such a way. Madam Speaker, kindly allow me to add that what our preoccupation as a ministry will be, and this is something that you must be able to appreciate, is that the Ministry of Transport and Logistics is primarily responsible for transport infrastructure, just like we build airports, but we do not run the airlines, okay? And so in a similar vein, we're busy focusing on harbour infrastructure so that this may aid even the attraction from the private sector that they may actually come in this particular sector to be able to assist. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honourable Member for Chiluvi.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much for giving me a second opportunity on that answer, though I am not satisfied with the first response, because the Minister knows the problems that are there in terms of which local authority should manage. Even currently, the Rucherenganga has a problem of which local authority should manage. Madam Speaker, what I'm talking about, if I may be given time, is the vessels that start from Samfia, and mainly they service Chifunabuli, and they don't go to the route of Lunga, which is Ruapula district, because of the topography of that particular area. Because these are bigger vessels, and there is no enough channel that can, and water. Because for these vessels to move, water should be above 6 meters, in terms of depth. That's what can happen. And some of these districts that he has brought together do not fall within that particular, and they don't see the responsibility of participating. We have tried that initiative before. They do not see the responsibility of participating in that particular initiative, which leaves Chiluvi more alone, because currently even the MV Rucherenganga is only docking at Chishi. It can't go to Mbawala. It is only docking at Mbawala. It can't go to Chishi because there are a lot of stones can destroy the vessel. That is just a background. Given that, Madam Speaker, I wanted to find out from the Minister whether with his counterpart from local government, they can give a directive to local authorities. Of course, ZAMPOS is an automatic and it's individualistic entity. But where we have a problem are local authorities to participate in this program. Because taking out 13 million from the CDF, which is just the money that can be used, without involving the other local authorities would be a problem. So is the ministry willing to give a directive to these local authorities that may benefit out of the same arrangement so that we may have a multiple contribution as opposed to just burdening Chiluvi as a local authority? Is that consideration being undertaken by your ministry?
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Transport and Logistics.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you to the Honourable Member for that follow-up question. Madam Speaker, the Honourable Member is fully aware, as I have stated in my earlier responses, about how it has been government policy to devolve certain functions to the local authorities. The operation of water transport is one such function. Therefore, what that means is that we have recused ourselves from such responsibility. There shall be no need, absolutely and whatsoever, that we may continue to want to get involved on that particular aspect. This, I guess, Madam Speaker, is why the President was very, or rather this administration, through the reforms to the Constitution that emanated from Bill 7, now Article 13, would like to take our members of Parliament back to the councils. Such a debate that you bring to this House should be the debate that you must take to the chamber of a particular council, and that you are absolutely at liberty to bring such suggestions to the parent company, that being the Ministry of Local Government, and that this responsibility must not be borne exclusively by the local authority. You've also got Zampost, which institution is under the Ministry of Technology and Science. So let us learn to think outside the box, free to make such suggestions, and that is why you are elected, to be able to speak on behalf of your citizens, that you can bring such solutions. But as far as the Ministry of Transport and Logistics is concerned, that function was literally given to the local authority, and therefore we are moving on with our core mandate, which is to look after transport infrastructure. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, we need to make progress. It was a constituency-based question, and we are behind. Today is a short day. So we go to the next question. The Honorable Member for Chinsali.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question number 239.
The Honorable Minister of Tourism.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the Honourable Member for Chinsali asked the Minister of Tourism what measures government is taking to promote Chipoma Falls in Chinsali District as a tourist site. Madam Speaker, in our attempts to respond to the question, I'd like to indicate that the Ministry of Tourism prides itself as a private sector-led ministry, and for this reason, government continues to work closely with the private sector to develop heritage sites such as Chipoma Falls in order to make them viable. This is done through engagements of both local and international investors. Government is committed to providing basic amenities and minimal infrastructure when funds are available to promote a conducive investment environment for the private sector. Madam Speaker, government is taking the following measures to promote Chipoma Falls in Chinsali District as a tourist site. 1. The Ministry of Tourism, through the National Heritage Conservation Commission, popularly known as NHCC, has gazetted Chipoma Falls as a national monument, providing it with a legal framework for protection, conservation, and controlled tourism development. The designation ensures that all development activities at site are guided by heritage and environmental standards. Secondly, Madam Speaker, regular site inspections, monitoring of infrastructure improvement have been undertaken by the Ministry at Chipoma Falls. These interventions include installation and refurbishment of directional and interpretive signage and construction and rehabilitation of visitor shelter. Thirdly, accessibility and visibility has been strengthened at the site, with directional signage being mounted along the Mpika Chinsali Road to guide tourists to the site. Fourthly, government is actively promoting community participation by promoting sites through the engagement of local community for routine maintenance at the site. Last but not the least, government is working to integrate Chipoma Falls into the wider tourism circuit that includes Nachikufu Caves and the Luwa Mission thereby positioning Chinsali district as a multi-attraction destination rather than a single site visit. This integrated approach is expected to increase tourist stay, duration, visitor expenditure, and overall regional tourism growth. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. Supplementary questions? The Honorable Member for Chinsali.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Minister. From the response you have provided, Honorable Minister, I do appreciate what you're doing, but I don't see anything that is showing that you are being aggressive with trying to attract investment in Chinsali, specifically in the area where Chipoma Falls is, so that tourists can be going there. Is it possible, Honorable Minister, that your ministry, together with, working together with ZDA, Ministry of Commerce or Ministry of Small Scale, together with the Chinsali local council?
As the time is 16:40 hours, I suspend business for 20 minutes for a health break.
Good afternoon. You're tuned into Parliament Television. Business will resume at 17 hours. Time now to look at what has been considered so far. Just a reminder that the House is considering questions for oral answer understanding order number 80. Question 239 is coming from Mr. Mukosa of Chinsali. He did ask the Minister of Tourism what measures the government is taking to promote Chipoma Falls in Chinsali district as a tourist site. And so the Tourism Minister, Honorable Sikumba, is responding to these particular